Hello ladies and gentlemen, ZPro Warfare bringing you another Minecraft WW1 vehicle tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and doing a redesign for the Saint-Chamond. The Saint-Chamond tank was the second French tank to enter service during the First World War, with 400 manufactured from April 1917 to July of 1918. Although not a tank by present-day definition, it is generally accepted and described as such in accounts of early tank development. It takes its name from the commune of Saint-Chamond, where its manufacturers Campagne des Forts et Aristis de la Marine et de Homcourt were based. Born on the commercial rivalry existing with the makers of the Schneider CA-1 tank, the Saint-Chamond was an underpowered and fundamentally inadequate design. Its principal weakness was its Holt Caterpillar tracks. They were much too short in relation to the vehicle's length and heavy weight. Later models attempted to rectify some of the tank's original flaws by installing wider and stronger track shoes, thicker frontal armor, and more efficient 75mm MLE 1897 field gun. Although 400 Saint-Chamond tanks were built, including 48 unarmed Caisson tanks, the Saint-Chamond tanks remained engaged in various actions until October 1918, belatedly becoming more effective since combat had moved out of the trenches and onto open ground. Eventually, the Saint-Chamond tanks were scheduled to be entirely replaced by the imported British heavy tanks. So, yeah, the Saint-Chamond, a kind of very iconic tank from World War I, just due to its main presence of being very much the main tank used by the French during that war. It's definitely a very unique design, and as I mentioned, the track design and all that stuff, does look really weird and kind of short for how long of a tank this thing is. But overall, pretty unique design for a tank, and all World War I tanks really are fairly unique in their construction. So we're going to see a lot of weird designs here over the next week of doing this World War I theme week. But pretty cool design. I thought the Saint-Chamond would be a great tank to redesign. I did a design for it a very long time ago that was really outdated and really needed rework, and this one right here is pretty nice, really nicely detailed, and fairly accurate, more size accurate than the previous one. So let's go and kind of dive into taking a look here at the vehicle and moving into the tutorial. So starting off with, we have the main gun, which is mounted in the front here. This is a 75mm field gun. We also have a hull mounted MG to the right side here. Up here we have the driver's viewports, basically, along with a spotlight, the hatches up on top here for the crew to exit, doors on the side here also. We then have side gunners, so machine guns mounted on the two sides here of the vehicle. We have the exhaust mounted up on top here. The track system itself, I think, came out really nice. And we also have kind of a green, tan, and blue camouflage, which seem to be kind of a common thing, looking at pictures and stuff like that of some of the tanks. So that's kind of interesting design you can put on the French tanks to really make them stand out. But yeah, pretty cool design overall. A really nice redesign, complete redesign from the ground up, and will make an awesome addition to your World War I battlefields. Anyways, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial. Alright guys, moving into our first layer, we'll be going ahead and start off with layer 1. Now we're going to be going ahead and building this vehicle without the camouflage, just in a standard green color scheme, and then we'll be going ahead and adding the camouflage as a optional modification to this vehicle. So just in case you're wondering why we're not doing the camouflage, that's the reason why. So just wait till the end. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we want to do here is we're going to place down a green terracotta block. We're going to go ahead and place down a narrow brick upside down stair coming off that block facing toward the front. So obviously our tank is to be facing that direction there. We're going to go to the side of this block. We're going to place down a dark oak wood button, an item frame, and a cobweb in the item frame like so. From this, we want to go ahead and then place down a grindstone, which is going to be on the bottom of this block, like so. And we want to go ahead and then take our nether brick, and we're going to place down a nether brick block underneath this. On the side of this grindstone, we're going to place down an item frame, a green terracotta block, and a dark oak wood sign on the side there. We're going to go ahead and go back from this with an end rod, and again a nether brick block underneath the end rod in the ground. We're going to then go up this section here. We're going to place down 2 grindstones upside down like that, and we're going to place down nether brick blocks underneath those grindstones. So just like so. We're going to then place down our item frames here on the sides of those grindstones, green terracotta blocks in those item frames, and dark oak wood signs on the sides of those blocks like so. We then want to go ahead and place down another end rod going back, followed by a nether brick full block underneath it, And we're going to go and do one last grindstone here underneath, or upside down, like that, and a narrow brick block. Again, on the side of the grindstone, we're going to place down an item frame, a dark oak wood sign, and a green terracotta block in the item frame, like so. Now, once we get to this point here, we're going to go and take our dark oak wood stairs. We're going to place down 2 upside down dark oak wood stairs back to back, like so. And underneath this, we're going to go and take our nether brick, and we're going to place down a row of 1 and 2 nether brick blocks underneath there. We then want to grab ourselves nether brick stairs and place down a nether brick upside down stair there on the end, and that's going to make our track design. We're going to go and skip a space of 3 over, and we're going to go and basically do the same design over here. So again, we have a space of 3 between our tracks, and we're just going to go and replicate the same design over here to this side. Now I'm going to build this side a little bit faster, as I already covered how to do this one side in detail. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit here. If you need to, you can slow down the video, pause it, but just know it's the same thing as the air side here. So there really is nothing too drastically different or too crazy going on here. So like this, going to drop down underneath here, place our grindstones. We have one right here, one here, and then one all the way up there. So we have those grindstones put in. We're going to then put our details on the side of them, item frames, and our green terracotta blocks in those item frames, and then dark oak wood signs on the sides of the grindstones. After that, we want to go and then take our end rods, place down an end rod here between the grindstones, and that right there is going to basically finish our track design. Now, once we get to this point, we're going to then place down a dark oak wood slab, or top slab, row 3 that's going to go between these nether brick upside down stairs here in the front. We're going to place down an additional row 3 that comes out one more on the front, and we just want to fill in the space here between the tracks with rows of 3 of dark oak wood top slabs, closing this whole area on. And going toward the back here, we're going to go ahead and go between these stairs, and then we're going to place down 2 more rows of 3 that stick out past those nether brick stairs, like that, along the center. And once we have that all done there, that is going to basically do it here for our first layer. As you can see, pretty simple stuff here, and that's our front, that's our rear of the vehicle back there, and you know, overall pretty simple. Actually, one thing also I want to add on is we're going to take dark oak trapdoors and place down a row of 3 here on the front. So just place those dark oak trapdoors, and with that we are pretty much good to go for this layer. Anyways, with that, let's go ahead and move into our next layer, layer number 2. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer 2. For layer 2 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to take our green terracotta, we're going to place down a row of 5 across this row 3 of dark oak top slabs in the very front. On the sides here, we're going to place down a dark oak button to both ends. We're going to do another row of 5 of green terracotta across, again a dark oak button on both ends. We then want to place down a dark oak upside down stair to both sides like so, and a row 3 of green terracotta across the center. A dark oak upside down stair come off the center green terracotta block, and then a dark oak slab, which is going to go to both sides of that stair like that for the front. And then lastly, we're just going to place down a dark trapdoor coming off that middle stair like so. After that's done, going ahead and working our way toward the back here, we're going to take our nether brick slabs. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 slabs going back, and same thing over here, 1, 2, 3 for the tracks. We're going to go then place down a nether brick stair on both sides again, a row of 2 of stone brick walls, and coming off the sides of these walls here, we're going to place down 2 dark oak wood signs. Same thing over here as well. We then want to go ahead and place down a nether brick top slab here on both sides, dark oak wood sign on the side here. We're going to then place down a green terracotta block on both sides with a tripwire hook coming off the side of it. And we're going to then take our dark oak wood stairs, we're going to place down 2 dark oak wood stairs on top of these 2 upside down stairs back to back like so. And then lastly on the back here, we're just going to place down a nether brick stair like that on the back. Now once we have that done, we have our tracks done, we're going to go and take our green terracotta and just fill in the spaces in between the tracks here, solid with rows of 3 of green terracotta. And we're going to stop once we get to these nether brick stairs and fill that space in. We're going to go then do a row of 5 of green terracotta across. After that, we're going to do a row of 3. Now to the sides here, we're going to place down a dark oak upside down stair, like that, and then we want to place down a row of 3 of dark oak upside down stairs coming off those 3 blocks across the back there. And once we have that all complete, that is going to wrap up what we have here for layer number 2. Here's a look at it from up above, and with that, let's go ahead and move into our next layer, layer number 3. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. For layer 3 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down a anvil, which is going to go on top of this dark oak wood upstone stair here, and then behind it we're going to place down a black concrete block. We want to then place down a green terracotta block coming off and going forward, a dark oak wood upstone stair, and then a polished black stone top slab, like that. On both sides of this green terracotta block here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign. After that, go into the sides here of the anvil. We're going to place down a dark oak wood slab to both sides, a green terracotta block back from those two slabs, and then out to the sides here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood stair. Now over here on the right side, and the right side only, we're going to go ahead and place down a zombie head coming off this dark oak wood stair, and then an end rod coming off it facing forward. After that, we're going to take our green terracotta, we're going to place down a row of 5 across here, a dark oak wood button, again on both sides. We're going to place down a row of 5 a green terracotta across, this time with a spruce wood trapdoor on both ends. We then want to place down a row of 5 a green terracotta again, going all the way across here, and a dark oak wood button, again on the two sides. After that, we're going to place down a dark oak wood stair here, and over here on this side, and then an end rod coming off these stairs, like so, sticking out to the side. We then want to go and take our black concrete, and we're going to place down black concrete blocks on the inside there of the stairs, and then a green terracotta block, like that. After that's done, we're going to take our green terracotta, we're going to place down a row of 5 across, followed by a second row, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and we're going to stop at 10 rows. So we have 10 rows of 5 green terracotta going back. We're going to go and start off by placing down a dark oak wood button next to this one, and we're going to go and skip every other one and place down a dark oak wood button. So, like this, going back. And right here, actually, we're going to space these buttons out. So, it should look something like this. So we're actually going to start from the back there and work our way forward. So it should be a blank space, button, blank space, button, and so on the side there. So it should look like that. We're going to go do the same thing over here. After that, we're going to take our green terracotta, place down a row of 3 across the center here. We're going to then take our mossy cobblestone walls and place down a mossy cobblestone wall in the corners here. Then one right here on both sides, and then a green terracotta block there in the very center. And once we have that all done there, that is going to wrap up what we have there for layer number 3. And with that, let's go ahead and move into layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood stair on top of this black concrete block here in the front. We then want to take our dark oak wood trapdoors and place down 1 and 2 trapdoors going forward. To the sides of the stair, we're going to place down a zombie head here at a kind of about a 45-degree angle here to both sides, like that. And we're going to go and then take our green terracotta and place down a row of 3 directly behind it, like so. We then want to place down a dark oak wood stair on both sides, and to the right side here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign coming off the stair, like so. After that, we're going to place down a row of 5 of green terracotta across, followed by a spruce wood trapdoor on both ends, like so. And we're going to go and take our green terracotta and do another row of 5 across, this time with a dark oak wood button on both ends, like that. When we get to this section here, we're going to go and grab ourselves some stripped spruce wood logs. We're going to place down a stripped spruce wood log here on top of those 2 black concrete blocks, green terracotta blocks in between them, like so. And actually, sorry, in between them, and then to the sides here, we're going to go and place down a dark oak wood slab, like so. After that, we're going to then place down a green terracotta block here in the center, followed by a dark oak wood stair like this, and a stair coming off it. So you have a corner stair, a regular stair, and we're going to do the same thing over here, like so. Another green terracotta block here in the center, again a stripped spruce wood log to both sides, and then a dark oak wood slab out to the sides. We're going to place down there a green terracotta block in the center here, a dark oak wood stair like this to both sides, and then a stair coming off it, so we turn that into a corner stair, and then we have a regular stair coming off it to that, like to the side. We're going to place down there a green terracotta block back, a dark oak wood stair on both sides like so, and then a dark oak wood slab coming off the stair. We're going to place down a green terracotta block again in the center here, and this time we want to go ahead and place down a row of 2 of dark oak wood stairs going across like that. When we get to this section here, we're going to place down a row of 3 of green terracotta across, followed by a dark oak wood slab to both sides. We're going to then place down another row of 3 of green terracotta across, this time with a dark oak wood stair to both sides. Another row of 3 of green terracotta, dark oak wood slab to both sides. Row 3 of green terracotta, and a dark oak wood stair again to both sides. Actually, sorry, my bad. It's going to be a dark oak wood stair followed by a corner stair and then a green terracotta block there in the center. So just like that. Once we get to this point, we're going to take our green terracotta, place down a row of 5 all the way across, and a dark oak wood button here on the end of each row, or the end of both sides. We're going to then place down a row of 3 green terracotta across the center here, mossy cobblestone wall to both sides, a mossy cobblestone wall to both sides, and then a green terracotta block there in the center with a dark oak wood button coming off it like so. And once we have that all complete there, we do also want to make one change. Over here on the right side, we're going to replace this mossy cobblestone wall with a dark oak wood upside down stair. And coming off that stair, we're going to place down an end rod like that for the rear machine gun. And now, once we have that all complete, that is going to wrap up what we have here for layer number 4. And with that, let's go ahead and move into our final layers, layers 5 and 6. Alright guys, go ahead and move into our final layers. We have layers 5 through 6. For these layers here, we're going to go and start off by going ahead and placing down a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of this green terracotta block, an item frame coming off of it, and then in that item frame, we're going to place down a snowball like so. Over here to the left side of it, we're going to take mossy cobblestone walls, and we're going to place down a row of 2 coming off of it here to the side. Now coming off those mossy cobblestone walls, we're going to place down 2 item frames, black concrete blocks in those item frames, and then 2 dark oak wood signs on the side of those mossy cobblestone walls like so. Going back from this, we're going to place down a row of 2 green terracotta, and then 2 spruce wood trapdoors on top of those green terracotta blocks. And also on the back here of these green terracotta blocks, we're going to place down 2 item frames with black concrete in them like that for, again, viewports there for the driver. After that, we want to go and then place down a spruce wood slab here to the side, and then one more out to this outer side like so. And in the space in between here, we're going to go and grab ourselves some dark oak wood buttons, and we're just going to place down 2 dark oak wood buttons right there. Now once we get to this point, we're going to go and grab a lever and also an end rod. We're going to place down a lever facing inwards on both sides here, and we're going to then take our end rods and place down a row of 3 across between the end rods. We then want to go ahead and grab stone buttons, and on top of these spruce wood logs, we're going to place down stone buttons. And in the middle space here, we're going to place down 2 dark oak wood slabs going back. We're going to go and then skip a space and go to this space right here. We're going to go and grab ourselves a polished blackstone stair. So right here. And we're going to place down an upside down polished blackstone stair, followed by a second stair directly behind it. So right there in that section. We're going to go and grab a wither skeleton skull, place it on both ends, and then taking dark oak wood signs, we're just going to place down 2 signs here along the sides there of those stairs. And then on the top of those stairs, we're just going to take stone buttons and place down 2 stone buttons there on the very top. After that's done, we want to go and then place down a zombie head. That's going to go on top of this dark oak wood stair here. We're going to then place down 1, 2, and 3 dark oak wood trapdoors back, and along the side here of those trapdoors, we're going to place down 3 dark oak wood signs to the left side of the trapdoors. Over here to the other side, we're going to place down a end rod coming off this wither skeleton skull, a wither skeleton skull on top of this stair there, and then we're going to go back 1, 2, 3, and 4 end rods back, a wither skeleton skull, and then 1 end rod on top of that stair like so. We then want to go ahead and grab our dark oak wood slabs here, and we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, and 3 down the center here, and then 1, 2, and 3 dark oak wood trapdoors there to the right side. After we have that done, we want to go and then take our dark oak wood trapdoors, and we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, and 4 down the center like so. Once that's done, we're going to then grab ourselves a green terracotta block. We're going to place down a green terracotta block on top of this right here, and a mossy cobblestone wall. We're going to place down a dark oak wood sign to both sides of this green terracotta block, and then come off the block toward the front. We're going to place down an item frame. Like we did up the front here, we're going to place down a black concrete block in the item frame, and then a dark oak wood sign over the block, like so, for a little viewport here on the rear of the tank. And then lastly, we're going to just grab ourselves some dark oak wood buttons, and we're just going to place down 1, 2 here, and then 1 right here, because we can't put a button here with a sign. So, just like that. And once you have that all complete there, that is going to complete my basic design here for the Saint-Chamond tank. Hope you guys do enjoy it. We're going to be going ahead and now adding the camouflage on, so I'm going to talk about that kind of briefly, about how you can go about adding camouflage onto this tank if you do choose to. But that right there is just a standard green camouflage one. It does look good as well. Let's go ahead and move into the camouflage. Alright guys, so moving into the camouflage. Now I'm not going to spend too much time on this, as the camouflage is pretty straightforward. I just want to kind of give you guys a basic general idea of what to do. All we're going to be doing here is just basically replacing some blocks in here. So we're going to be using a mixture of green. We're going to keep the tank majority green, and that's the key part, is we want to maintain a majority of green. You can also look at models online of the Saint-Chamond in this camouflage to kind of give you guys a better idea and kind of make it a little bit to your own liking. but we're going to be going ahead and keeping this probably about 50% green and then 25% blue and then 25% tan. So that's kind of the goal here for this camouflage. So all you got to do is just pick a spot that you want to start from, and we're going to start right here. We're going to go ahead and use light blue concrete and warped stairs and slabs and trapdoors and buttons for changing stuff to blue. And then we're just going to be using smooth sandstone, birchwood trapdoors, and birchwood buttons for the tan parts. So we're just going to have a little bit of blue in this corner piece right here. And anywhere we like replace a block where there was a button, we're going to replace it back with the corresponding color. And then let's say we want some sandstone kind of in this section right here. We're going to go ahead and basically do that. So we'll add some sandstone kind of flowing up from here into this upper section here of the vehicle, and we'll have it kind of flow back and go up onto the roof here. Now we don't want to go too crazy with our splotches. Again, we're just kind of adding little bits and pieces of it here and there around the tank. And, you know, we don't have to make them super big either. They don't have to kind of form stripes or anything like that. We just want kind of a simple design here for this. And you can see I'm just kind of going randomly to different sections and starting it. So it's, again, nothing too crazy. Trapdoors here we'll replace with some sandstone, and we'll go and do that. We'll have a little bit of blue that comes down here, and that's about as far as I want to go with that. And in the back corner here, again, we'll place down some blue here in the corner, maybe some sandstone that kind of comes up like this. Again, we can use sandstone walls for the back here, and also for the blue sections we can use the prismarine walls, which do work pretty good for that. But we'll go ahead and kind of maybe do something like that on the back there. Maybe have just a little patch of sandstone up here. Again, replace our buttons that we delete, and then we'll kind of go back and grab ourselves some warped blocks again and some concrete, and we'll have a little bit of this come up into this section here. So as you can see, I'm just kind of doing it randomly. It's really not anything, you know, particular or with it, and just kind of place it in. And that's kind of the best thing you want to do for camouflage like this. And also don't be afraid to kind of do a little bit on the roof here. So we can go and put a little bit of blue concrete up here. We can replace some trapdoors like that, and we don't have to have it flow from the sides up on top here. We can just kind of start random little parts up here and turn these into, you know, colored bits and stuff like that to kind of, again, give that camouflage effect that we're going for here. So something just kind of like that up on top there. You can see we're not going overboard again. And so that's basically the general idea. You're going to go and take that, basically do that all the way around the tank. One thing I do want to mention also is that it seemed like a lot of these tanks that did have this camouflage, the entire track system was colored blue. Now, not 100% sure why, but to do that real simply, we're just going to replace all these blocks here with our warped. We're going to go and use our full blocks here, replace any blocks we delete. And the closest color or really shade we have to light blue is, or actually we have warp signs. So we can actually use warp signs here on the side. Completely forget we had those. So we can use warp signs here along the sides, and we'll go ahead and replace these blocks here. And in those item frames, we're going to go ahead and place down blue. So just like this here for this whole track system here. And again, this is something that I just kind of noticed in building these, or at least building this vehicle with this camouflage. It could just be a couple one-off vehicles, but again, I think it kind of looks cool, I guess. So the whole track system would be kind of highlighted blue, and then behind this you could, you know, keep the camouflage pattern somewhat in here, but for the most part it was just the actual kind of, you know, wheels and bits and stuff like that that were colored blue. But once you have that done, you get a nice kind of, you know, interesting looking Saint-Chamond. You get a little bit more kind of a spiced up version of it. Kind of adds a little bit more detail and makes it a little bit more interesting to look at compared to our green one. And it does keep it accurate to actual French models and stuff like that of the Saint-Chamond. So overall, pretty cool build, I think, and again, gonna make an awesome addition to any of your worlds. I'll leave you guys with that with the camo, and you guys can obviously go crazy and do your own camouflages and all that for this vehicle. Anyways, that right there is going to do it for this tutorial. Hope you guys do enjoy it and are able to put it to good use. If you do go ahead and use this design, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be anything from a sound the build, link to my channel, or this video if it does appear in social media sites. As always, you guys give me proper credit for the build, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with it, and all that fun stuff. And with that, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Gary204, and I'll see you guys next time.